to put English on the basketball.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of With the English Podcast, episode 20, with myself as usual and Sam. We are a man down this week. We were due to talk all things Bucks with Sean from UK Bucks, but his injury report went from probable to doubtful to game time decision out. He's not feeling very well, so hopefully we'll catch up with Sean soon and we can talk all things Bucks. So on that note, I think we should head straight into it. Last night we had some UK friendly tip-off games. And first up was the Bucks versus your Sixers. Did you watch it, Sam? How did it go?
Yeah, I did watch it. I think I did. It wasn't fun.
Well, you might have been
It,
having your roast Sunday dinner, as it was very early
no,
in the
so
evening.
well, no, I rushed back because I was coaching all day, doing my next level football coaching, soccer coaching, and then my son had a game at 4:30, and then his game that finished at like 20 to 6, and it was peeing down with rain, so I had to rush back, get wet, obviously soaking wet. So is my son, both trying to like quick showers and stuff, get ready. So I missed the first like minute nearly or so of the game, so I had to yeah, I didn't watch it live for the first minute until the first time out. So yeah, tough one, but is what it was always going to happen. Same with
Always
your.
going to happen.
So yeah,
I'll tell you what,
actually,
I dipped in and out of your game, but every time I looked, you were down by 20 or 18.
we
But
got
that
it
was in the
close at
second
one
half.
point. Yeah, it's just the thing is you got to expect it. So same with your game, right? If you have players out injured, do do you expect to win? If you have
Well,
players.
I'm glad you mentioned that because our best friend, or my best friend, Darvin Ham, was using a 7-man rotation essentially when having 4, 5 players out already, which made no sense at all. His favourite buddy, Torian Prince, who has been playing well recent off the bench, uh, but was getting played hefty minutes, whilst we had Hayes, who's a big tall centre, and Christie, who's got a decent length as a guard and is one of our best rebounding guards. Got 5 minutes each in a game that we were totally, sort of outscored on the glass. So injuries aside, I think it's redundant given our coach can't even use the players that he has available to him.
Well, at least, yeah, at least you're. I know you're not a big fan of Ham at the moment, but at least he's trying to use who he thinks is his best players. Like I love Nurse, but I mean, it's just not working with the rotations that he's using to try and it's not necessarily his fault, but it's not working with readers starting more minutes and stuff like that. So it's that time of the year where it's just really tough right now because players this is the more crunch end where players are getting more rest. So everyone's going to be coming and onto a podcast or on social media talking about their team and being frustrated with it because it's that time of year where they're having it. Like for me, the most frustrating thing was there was a all-star break and then my team has a back-to-back. Like, and I know Sixers weren't the only team, but teams having back-to-backs after an all-star break, like it
Yeah,
just
let's
makes
talk
no.
about that actually. I tweeted that out the other day that yeah, you're right. We had a break. Lakers come back. They have a back to back, but then we have like 3 days, 4 days break, back to back, one night off, game. Then we're not playing till Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got a back to back Friday and Saturday next week, or
It's
this week,
it's
should I say?
it
How
just
how is that making sense?
I know it's to cater for teams on West and East Coast trips and stuff as well, but yeah, it doesn't for me. Like it is frustrating. So I think it's just that frustrating time of the year where you're going to have those losses come in because you're going to have players rotating with their rest and stuff like that, and you just don't want to risk that injury, especially if your team are going to be in the playoffs or close to solidifying a position in the playoffs, which some of the teams I've got now, let's be honest. Unfortunately, both our teams aren't aren't guaranteed at the moment to be in the playoffs. Play-ins,
This,
yeah.
damn,
Well,
this,
six is
we
play-ins, but
could end this podcast in May this year, I think. And
I'll be
that's
happy.
I only say May because I've got confidence that you'll get into the first
No.
round legitimately.
I mean, so the best thing from last night was that Embiid was on the sideline, and so was Arthur, his son, and and I'm hearing reports. So I've got a friend who's friends with a reporter, and I've also got friends in report, and I'm seeing and hearing that Embiid is shooting and stuff like that, and seems okay, and all the reports they're hearing and all the like little side notes they're getting are Embiid looks good and will be good to play in the next couple of weeks, which is great. So it does sound everything seems to be positive. And the fact that his son didn't give Harris a high five, which was I think unintentional for social media, Sixers social media, and gave Maxi one. So yeah, I think it's just that time of year where everyone's gonna get frustrated. The result. This is where the micro, like I said to you, it doesn't matter before Christmas. This is when results start being treated like an NFL season or a football season or one of those sports where there's not multiple games, a World Cup or Six Nations, whatever your other sport is outside of basketball. This is the ones now where every game means something because it could be a position in the playoffs. It could be that's the final head to head. They've now got the advantage over us, so we've got to be 2 games better than them to kind of
Yeah,
catch them and finish.
there's no time anymore to play about. Um, Us losing last night could have been well if we won last night we would have been I think 2.5 games back from sixth. Pelicans lost, Dallas lost, Golden State lost, and obviously if we beat the Suns, and the Suns would have lost, so we would have gained half a game on all those teams with which was pivotal given the Western Conference is not doing us any favors at the moment. When we were winning games, so was everyone else. So we're very
Mm-hmm.
fortunate that the rest lost last night, but we got a tough schedule coming up. We got Denver, we've got the Clippers, we've got Kings, Warriors again. Like we got some real tough games coming up, and every game is going to have a sort of say on the standing and seedings going into the players, and I'm very concerned for the Lakers. We could easily finish 10th. Utah are 3.5 games back. We could drop out if we don't get our shit together. We could easily drop out.
I think both conferences, to be fair though, are quite tight. And if there's no, like I say, bar maybe Boston, Denver, that there's still several teams in play, which is what the NBA wants really, because it's going to mean the TV ratings are going to be there up until the regular
Yeah,
season
I
over.
didn't realize how close you were to the playing, but I think you'll be safe for just the one playing game. I think 9th and 10th, 6 games back, you should be good for that.
Indeed, indeed. So the best team in LA. Do you want to talk about the best team in LA? The Clippers.
Yeah, a bit different in today's news. They are the best team in LA at the moment, to be honest, as much as it pains me to say, and I know you're doing it just to wind me up, but
um,
it's true. Um, the team that doesn't have the best logo in LA or
no.
the NBA is the Clippers currently. But before I touch on that, I will admit that their jerseys for next season are clean. They
Yeah,
are very, very good. 10 out of 10 for the jerseys, which will tie in well with their new arena. It's a new era for them. They just had to get the logo right, and they would have had a
they
perfect
would have been.
marketing piece for the new season. But that logo is awful. That doesn't tell me that's a sports team.
Well, I think it looks more like a European or like South American football team, soccer team
Not
logo.
even that, mate. I look at that and I think European nautical, like I don't know, boat company.
I mean, I did think, if I'm honest, like they would do that Nets thing. So when the Nets first came on the scene, they were really popular with like they were like the modern day, the early the 2000 or the noughties version of Oakland. So we all remember NWA making the Raiders really popular with their clothing. People wore it because that's what Ice Cube and Eazy-E in that wore. And Brooklyn had that, and I thought, okay, Clippers are going to be that's going to be the next one. Every 20, 30 years, there's a team that grabs that, right? Miami had it in the 90s as well with their thing. So both American football teams, and then obviously Michael Jordan with the Bulls, but they just failed on that. Like I say, the jerseys are clean. The arena's going to be amazing.
But all the merch, all the like fan merch is going to have that ugly logo on it. Like you sort of
They're
have
not going
easy
to sell the hats.
t-shirts,
Yeah, the hats. I think for me that
hats.
yeah, like that's the thing, right? You saw like Jay-Z obviously helped because he owned the Nets at the time, but like if you've got rappers wearing those, I just can't see it unless loads of rappers get paid to wear the hat in their videos rather than out of choice, and that's a real forced marketing thing. I can't see it being a thing that takes off where people want to buy that. The
But then
jerseys, yeah,
on the
absolutely.
flip side, I think they're going to max out on jersey sales.
Yeah, I think uh, there's always going to be like there's certain like logos when they try and change things, retro things like City Edition or whatever, where you don't always agree with it. And then I've disagreed with a couple of Sixers ones in the past, but generally been quite happy with them. But that is and I'm always open to admit when I see a decent jersey, right? When we went through the in season ones, but I definitely don't like. I had to check it was legit. I thought it was fake.
I'm with you on that one. Clippers UK was tweeting out all the updates, and I thought it was a fan art concept. And then I went on their X account to see it was legit. And we're too far away from April the 1st, so it can't be an April Fool's joke. That is their logo.
Yeah, but the plus side is that blue one in particular. I do like the color of that because very similar to the Sixers. So I like that for someone.
The red's my favorite for me.
I
I
do
wouldn't
like.
go to
Red was second favorite, but the white one I'm not. But like for someone that's like me and you that support a team that wear red and white here and generally hate blue, I do like that
It's funny you
blue with
mentioned that
red.
because here I am, a Lakers fan, and the noisy sibling other club in the same city or same area, because Southampton Portsmouth aren't the same city, of course, but obviously it has its nautical background as well. So I thought that was the parallels was quite funny, to be honest. They really
Mm.
are the Portsmouth FC of the NBA world, in my world anyway.
I was gonna say, I'm sure there'll be some people that will say that Pompey have won more trophies than Southampton, so you can't compare it like that. But I think fan base wise, obviously Southampton's much bigger and much more popular, and that's definitely the case here. Lakers, there's definitely more Lakers fans in the world than there is Clippers. And this was Clippers'
Lakers
chance.
Lakers have won the in-season tournament. Southampton have won the Johnson's Paint Trophy. So there are parallels everywhere on this.
Okay,
But yeah, to sum up, 10 out of 10 for the jerseys and 1 out of 10
that's being kind.
the
Yeah,
logo. What they should do is just flush all that logo merch down their 1,000 toilets and don't try and sell it. But good luck to them in the new arena next season. No, it will be exciting and it'll be good for them to be out of the Staples finally.
Yes, yeah. I'm still shocked that that Steve Ballmer just signed. Yeah, for someone that worked for Microsoft, there's let someone do Microsoft art and just yeah. But anyway, so you wanted to talk about?
I have an interesting topic for you.
Oh, okay.
And as a man who's watched the NBA for way more years than me, as you like to point out last week,
I was
um,
joking, but yes, yeah.
I want to know how long has it been an unwritten rule that players must hatch it when they're up quite a bit in the dying seconds of a game?
I don't remember a time where it hasn't been.
So
So yeah,
it's clearly been for decades then.
yeah. I think there's been so when I first started watching, there was more the points. Games were less than it wasn't regular to see over 100 points in the NBA when I first started watching it, like really watching it. in the early naught in the mid to late noughties, sorry. So yeah, it wasn't like 3-point shooting constantly and things like that where there was massive gaps. So you didn't see a lot of like blowout wins where you would see it, certainly from a Sixers perspective anyway, because obviously that was the main games I was watching. But yeah, it's not. I've not seen it. The game, like, so you're obviously talking about Golden State game. I think it was only like a 10-point lead. It wasn't like if it was 20 or 30 point. I think you are taking the P here, but there was a shot clock violation. And what always reminds me of it is because I remember watching like it being blown up because that's when I started watching T Mac like scoring whatever points, 18 points and like 15 or whatever it was. I can't remember. I should know because obviously it's such a famous thing. I have to Google it. But he brought the Spurs, he had the Spurs. It's just ridiculous. Like it can happen. In 20 seconds, you can, if you get lucky, you might do it. So there's still a chance that the Hornets fouled. Hope that Golden State missed a couple, make a three. It's a single digit game. So
Yeah.
it's always been a
But
real
regardless of that being a valid point, I just think it's nonsense. Like, why are these players so touchy about someone getting an extra 2 points when they've already won the game? Like, what? Am I the only insane one here that thinks it's ridiculous?
No, I think I've always thought, well, why stop? Like, because you've got so in that situation, you are giving up a turnover or a missed you're reducing your field goal percentage if you don't. So if there's not, so my thing is if there's not a difference between the shot clock and the thing, and the end of regulation, I agree. Don't need to do it. Just see the game out, dribble it out. Cool. But if there's a secondary, you've got to take that shot. Otherwise, you're getting a forced turnover. That might be a difference between your paycheck.
But even if they take that shot, why does it hurt their feelings? Why is it in this unwritten rule? Like I've not seen this in any other sport. And like I said, I mentioned this point because of the games that happened on the weekend. They're literally fighting over this. Actually fighting.
Exactly. And here we go. 13 points in 33 seconds, Tracy McGrady, right? So if you really want to do it, the deficit, you can turn it around. So why not? Why not do that? Why not? There's 40 seconds left in the match.
Do you remember it was a big talking point for the in-season tournament?
No, I don't.
Because even though teams had lost, they were kept trying to score towards the end because of their point differential.
Oh yeah, of course.
How they're bearing on getting through, and no one. And this is when everyone didn't know the rules, and coaches were confused, and players were confused. Like, why are you suddenly doing this? And it's because of the in-season tournament sort of standings, because it was based on points. But again, I just don't see why it's such a thing. Got to stop fighting over it.
Goal difference is played a big part because you do head to head. The goal difference, so like the goals for, the points for, and the points against don't really matter. So
No.
that's why. But yeah, like I said, you can turn it around. Just play till the end. Like Tracy McGrady, like I said, I know it happens. It's very rare you see it, but Tracy McGrady did it. 13 points in 30 seconds. So yeah, it's frustrating, but that they don't have more of a sort of hard, sort of hard approach to it. Just get on with it and don't get your butt hurt, really.
And who's the player? Who's the player that started the fight at the weekend?
So I mean, I'll just call him Leicester for now.
Yep.
So
but Leicester, I think it's Quineros.
Yeah, I was going Quineros. Yeah, I was getting it wrong. So yeah,
he said it perfectly. It's basketball, bitch. It is basketball. Like, it's just basketball.
Yeah, and I don't dispute him for it as well because he's not someone that plays 30 odd minutes every game. He just wants to get some extra points up. Do you know what I mean? So and there was it. He can't afford a turnover potentially. He doesn't want to have that on his stats. So I don't blame him for that. To be honest with you, I don't. But yeah, that was a fight I thought a bit needless. There was a better fight.
Can Adam Silver just make a statement and say, for now on, teams don't need to hatch games. They don't need to dribble it out. They can play to the final buzzer. Get on with it. You're grown men.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? don't think he's ever going to come out and say it. So I think it's just a player brotherhood that is going to agree to not do it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Like I said, there's a better fight to talk about if you want. I preferred.
Go on.
Good old Xeon getting Kevin Love giving him a bit of a rough. Oh, I don't think it was that bad in fairness, but
Is this last night?
the other night when no, the other night
I did
when,
not see this.
did you not see this? So Marshall, you not seen
Oh
Marshall?
no, sorry, yeah, because Thomas.
uh,
No, see, my only thing I saw was Thomas Bryant bloody fighting Jose Altidore.
yeah. So
Altidore,
obviously there was like
DCA.
yeah. So there's like 3 or 4 fights, all from Kevin. So I didn't see all of the game. I obviously only saw the highlights, but they were complaining about stuff being let go. But yeah, it was a bit weird because Dion just walked off and then shouted at the ref saying, you see that you can't keep letting that go, like because obviously he had been fouled a couple of times. But he did the superstar thing. He did the right thing. He walked away,
Well,
and then
correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin Love got a game suspension. Dean Butler got a game suspension, and Thomas Bryant got 3 game suspension. Oh no, was it Jovic? Jovic was involved as well, wasn't he?
yeah, I haven't seen the suspension give out. To be honest with you, I have to check that now. But yeah, I just loved that. What I love is Grant Williams is Philly. So Grant Williams got stuck in there and was there. He's a boy. He got stuck in the Hornets one, and he did the right thing. Just shout up in your face, point in, go in, no thing. Then you have the players that think they're big and hard, and then they start pushing and shoving and stuff like that. And I just thought Marshall and Butler a bit like give it large from behind, sort of like being held back, and then start throwing
Oh yeah,
stuff.
that happens all the time.
Nah, yeah, it's just whereas like I say, what I loved about the Hornets and the world, like Williams got there, and then Draymond was obviously a bit sensible for once, and was kind of like back, but like just get in their face, have a go at them for doing it, but don't push it up because then you are going to get games. Even if you don't get a game, you're going to get a fine, right? And you want to stick up for your boy, especially because Zion did the right thing, walked away. He's a superstar. He's got to walk away. They can't afford for him to get banned. Same thing happened with us when Embiid used to get in stuff when he was younger. He just walk away smirking, laughing now. But he used to stand up and try and fight people his first 2 years. And you'd want someone else, especially like when we had Butler. Butler would be the one to go over. And I'm not saying Jimmy's not a hard man or whatever, because I know Jimmy will give it. But it was just funny how it was kind of
All
like,
players know people are going to step in and break it up, and I don't think
yeah.
any players about it.
Nah, I just, I think it was just, but it was much more entertaining, like trying to see
Well,
2 or
yeah,
3
it
different
was
fights
nice
sprout
for
off from, and neither one, like Kevin Love didn't throw any real punches, and neither did Zeal, but they were the two that were involved in the issue that with the foul.
clearly the players were very emotional over the weekend.
It's because they were happy, breaking away, relaxing.
When I said last week that Sabrina versus Steph Curry looked like a WWE slate, I didn't mean for then, the players to have a PPV WWE event the following weekend.
No, I think the NBA ratings definitely took a spike, or certainly their social media. So I think X and Instagram probably had quite a lot of likes and views and stuff from the fights from this weekend, because there was a couple of good fights, like I say, or whatever. But they're not quite hockey. I watched a bit of hockey at the weekend actually, and they're not quite the same. But
Yeah, that comes up on my timeline, and that blows my mind. We got a league in the NBA where they don't want to see physical altercations and fighting, and they would stamp on it as soon as it happens. Yet the NHL,
the refs let them fight until they calm down.
yeah, they want it to happen. So
Well,
very
that's
strange how the two sports are different there.
indeed. So I've just caught up on it. You are right. Butler and Marshall received 1 game bans for on-court fight. And 3 other players suspended. I love how the Daily Mail UK, not that I normally read the Daily Mail, I just want to say that where I've gone to. But yeah, Thomas Bryant, 3 game suspension. Alvarado, yeah. And I see you coming up on an advert on my thing. So yeah, 3-game suspension, unlucky. And you weren't even you got fouled. Great.
Crazy. What a dramatic weekend.
Indeed. Wow, it was more exciting than last week anyway. Better than the All-Star game. We wanted some more.
That is true. After no one caring about anything last week, they all care about everything this week.
Exactly. All about the fighting, all about the WWE action, like you say.
It is,
Rebrand
yeah.
it. So
Suppose you're
Glenn.
waiting for some X's and O's.
I was hoping I was gonna say, so Glenn, you haven't got any this week, no, but you have. Okay, great.
Due to the change of prep, I haven't got really any lined up, and we've only got a few minutes. Although I did want to say, I'll give you one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Clipper base. Given we talked about the Clippers earlier
Yeah.
in the episode, and given how bad the Lakers are at the moment, I put to a few Laker fans that in the year of Kobe being 2024, of the year 24.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see a Celtics and Clippers finals? Because that would be the worst possible outcome for the Lakers.
Well, I have to say X right now
Who's
because
not making it?
I think the Clippers, it's tough to call the West. I think the Celtics are coming out of the East. Doc Rivers won't kick the Bucks out of the East. And the only other team that could do it would be us. I don't think the Knicks are good enough. We've got the best player in the Eastern Conference in Joel Embiid. And he needs to be healthy. And I don't know if the rumors are true, great. But yeah, I think that would be tough for us to beat the Celtics in the 7 games. So yeah, Celtics are going to go all the way and get to the finals. I think Denver could do back to back. Have Drake
Yeah,
singing at their concert.
yeah, I think Denver come out the West. To be honest,
So yeah, at the
that's
moment,
that's all I've got. That's all I've got, Sam.
that's fine.
There was a lot to talk about. I don't think we touched on half of what happened in the NBA in the last few days. But I'm glad, unlike the NBA players, we haven't had a fight.
No, we just
and
did what the main sort of what do you call it? What do you call the media that try and bait you into stuff?
clickbait.
Clickbait. Yeah, we did the clickbait. We just talked about clickbait stuff here, fighting and stuff
I
like that.
think
Not
it's
even
because we
talking
want
about
to avoid talking any action because our teams are awful.
yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, yeah. We're not going after clickbait. We just didn't want to talk about actual basketball because our teams have been that
Yeah,
bad. Okay,
we
we'll go
might
with
do that
that.
next week.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this week's got some more promising action anyway. It's a full week back now, so let's hope that there's players playing and there's games going on. Like you said, there's a lot of they've done it intentionally. A lot of big games going on this week where top of the
Yes,
West and top of the East are playing against each other.
we got Clippers, but hey ho. Anyway,
Like
if you got this far, please watch, like, listen, share, and engage with us on our X account, which is what, Sam?
it's with the English one.
One, because we're the only podcast called With the English.
How to put English on the basketball.